Hey guys, welcome to my Noble Guide to Jazz Piano. This is lesson number 1 for my intermediate and advanced level. Today we're going to be talking about guide tones and the blues chords. All right, so first of all, our goal today is 3 things. Number 1, we're going to learn how to form the guide tones for all of the chords of the blues. Second of all, we're going to play that 12-bar blues along with the guide tones. And number 3, we're going to know what it is we need to practice. All right, so first of all, we start with our basic 7th chords. All right, so this is my basic C major, basic C minor, basic C7. We're going to focus on that dominant 7th chord. So you can see the C is the root, E is the 3rd, G is the 5th, and then B flat is the 7th. Now, if this already is way over your head, I suggest you take a look at my beginner Noble Guide to Jazz Piano. All right, so to find the guide tones, the first thing that we do is we take the 3rd and the 7th of the chord and we play it together. So again, we take the 3rd of the chord, this is C7, okay, you can see the notes right up here, right? There's your C7 chord right up there. So we take that 3rd, we take the 7th of the chord and we play it together. Just a real quick tidbit, remember when you have this flat here, this note right here is still flat because it's within the measure, right? So this is E and B flat. This is the 3rd and the 7th for our C7 chord, first chord in our blues. So let's just go through and form the guide tones on each of the chords of the blues. So first of all, that's C7. Now when we go to F7, we can do this, right, which is A and F. So that's the 3rd and the 7th of F. But notice what I did here. To make it a little bit easier, we moved and shifted this and we went to the 7th and the 3rd. So the 3rd and the 7th, or the 7th and the 3rd, it doesn't matter what order they are in, it's still the guide tones for the chord. And the only reason that you would change the order is you want to change the voice leading. And voice leading is basically how do we move from one chord to the next, and how do we do that in the most easy way possible without having to move our fingers too much. So when we go to C7 to F7 like this, see how I have to lift up, and it's like more likely to make an error or make a mistake. So instead, it's a lot easier to do this. And I could use my middle finger and thumb and go to my 4th finger and thumb if I wanted to. And when I go back to C7, I go back to my 3rd and my 7th. For G minor, it's F and B flat, that's my 7th and my 3rd, and then now look at what happens. This B flat is a common tone between G minor 7 and C7, so all I do is I keep that B flat right there on my thumb, and I move to C7. Then I go back to F7, F7 again, then C7. Now this one I'm going to lift up, and I'm going to move to A7. That's the 7th and the 3rd for A7. So we're going from C7 to A7, C7 to A7. You can practice that along with me. C7, A7, C7, A7. All right, good. The next chord is D minor 7. So we were right here. We just move our thumb down to the C. And we play the 3rd and the 7th for D minor 7. And when we move to G7, this becomes the 7th of G. So we just move that thumb down to B. That's G7, and then we have these 4 chords, C7, A7, D minor 7, G7. So right here, these last 2 measures are the measures that are probably going to be the toughest for you because they move a little bit faster and there's 4 chords there. So let's just focus on that. C7 to A7 to D minor 7 to G7. C7 to A7 to D minor 7 to G7. C7 to A7 to D minor 7 to G7. Okay? All right, so now the question is probably, well, why do we even use guide tones to begin with? Well, guide tones are basically they're like simplified chords, right? So rather than playing my full C7 chord, it's a lot easier to get to that guide tone. But the other reason is that we use this as a base and a foundation for our chords because we can start to do this kind of stuff later, which I will show you in this Noble Guide. Some of these like chordal voicings and whatnot in the right hand and bell tones. So we can do a lot of cool stuff. We can also utilize it for improvisation. Right, so you see how I can kind of mess around with my guide tones and use those as target notes to weave my improvisation. Right? So guide tones are super, super important for jazz players to know. And you've got to really not only know them, but they have to be ingrained in you. So when you think like F minor 7, bam, right there, or right there. E minor 7, bam, right there. D7, right there. G minor 7, right there. E flat 7, right there. So a good practice routine for you would be to go through and just randomly say a note and then try and make your dominant 7th guide tones on that. So for instance, let's just practice that right now. If I said D7, well, what is it? Can you get to it before I do? Bam. So there's your 3rd and your 7th. Just a quick note in case you don't know my lessons. I mark all the notes as flat rather than switching back and forth between sharp and flat. But obviously this would be considered F sharp and C versus G flat. F sharp would be more enharmonically correct. Okay. What about A minor 7? Can you get to it? Try and get the 7th on the bottom and the 3rd on top. And there you go. There's your 7th and the 3rd. What about C minor 7? You can do that one, or what's the other way you could go? You could take that E flat and move it up there. Now obviously you can go kind of so far down. That's all right, but that's not going to sound good down there. Okay. So that's the other benefit of your guide tones, is that you can play these guide tones low, whereas that is a little too low to play like a full C minor 7 rootless chord voicing, okay? But we could do that and then kind of build our voicings up from there. So guide tones are very, very, very useful and helpful to us. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put on our play along track, and we're just going to try playing through the try playing through the whole blues, okay? Now, before we do that, let me just quickly tell you the analysis of this. All right, I didn't write it down, but I'm going to tell it to you. So C7 is our 1-7 chord, F7 is our 4-7, C7 is our 1-7 chord again. Then we do a 2-5 progression to lead us to our 4 chord. And we go to 4 chord again right there, and then back to our 1 chord. This A7, don't get scared off on this. We would call this a 5-7 of 2 chord. Okay, we don't call it a 6 chord because it's dominant. It is outside of the diatonic chords. And if any of that you don't understand, don't worry. You don't have to leave the advanced section because you don't know that. It's kind of some heady theory. So we would call this 5-7 of 2, then 2, 5, 1, 5-7 of 2, 2, 5, and then back to 1. Okay, and when we end the blues, we end on that 1 chord. Okay. So let me just bring this on back. Let's go ahead and start this. Here we go. Ready? Go. C. Okay, ready? F. C. Then G minor, C. F. F again. C. A. D minor, G7, C, A, D minor, G7, and we end on that C7, okay? All right, so very, very nice job. Now, let me just fix one thing here. So one thing you're going to see me do is you're going to see that I'm going to move the move to the next measure. You're going to see this move a little bit quicker. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. And then I'm not going to come in right when I move this. This is when I'm moving my hands. Okay. So let me play it again for you so you can hear that. So watch. So I play that. Whoops. Sorry. I messed that up. So I'm going to play this again and watch as the box moves. So C. So you see how the box moved just before we got to the measure? That's because I'm not going to wait until the very last beat before I move to the next measure. It's one thing that sometimes students do. They'll wait to the very last minute and then they jump right into that next measure, and it sounds like they're jumping right into that next measure. Okay? All right, so let's try going through this again, nice and slow. ready, go. C, F, C, G minor, C7, F, F, C, A, D minor, G7, C, A, D minor, G7, C. All right, good job. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to have a little bit of fun here. I'm going to put on the iReal Pro track right here, and you get this this file along with the download for the sheet music so you can play along with this, all right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to back this up and see if you can go through and do the guide tones without seeing the music now, okay? And I'm going to explain to you at the end how you can get the music, so just hang tight with me for a little bit. All right, so let's go ahead through this, go through the entire thing. 2, ready, go. C, F7, C7, G minor, C, F, F, C7, A7, D minor, G7, C, A, D, G. Okay. All right, great job, very nice. Okay, so what you should be practicing is, number one, make sure you could do the guide tones for all of the chords. Okay? And a great way of doing that is to do number 2. Take a copy of the music with you and just say the name of the guide tone. So, all right, so you look at the music, and then you don't even have to take the music. You could also just write down the chords. That's fine, too. All right, C7, the guide tones, E and B flat, or B flat and E. All right, F7, the guide tones are A and E flat, all right, or E flat and A. G minor 7, F and B flat, or B flat and F. So you get the point. So you really know how to not only say the guide tones, but then it's going to be a lot easier for you to be able to play them. Number 3, go through and play the 12-bar blues just like we did. All right, so go through and do that whole 12-bar blues and make sure you could do the 12-bar blues with the backing track, and then you can bump up the tempo, to whatever feels comfortable for you. And number 4, as a bonus, if you want, add some comping rhythms. So if I put this backing track on again. Now let me start this again from the top. 2, ready, go. So. So you see how I can add some rhythm to this? Now you might say, hey, can I do this? Sure, if you want to like move it around. Sure, you could do that. There's nothing wrong with that. So you can move that voicing around. Now, if you're going to post your jam videos, which I would hope that you do, go back to the No Bull Piano Facebook group, post them in there, and also do me a favor and throw a hashtag on there as well. You know, you could put No Bull Piano or JAZZEDGE. That would be great if you wouldn't mind doing that. So to join the Facebook group, just go back and search for No Bull Piano, and then you'll be able to join that Facebook group. And there's going to be a lot of cool stuff going on there. I'll be doing a lot of communication in that Facebook group. To download the resources, again, at the Facebook group, I will give you information on how to get there and give you the link, but then you can also go right here, all right? So just go back to No Bull Piano /NBGJP, No Bull Guide Jazz Piano, all right? So No Bull Guide Jazz Piano, NBGJP. You're going to hear that, acronym a lot, okay? All right, and then finally, first of all, do me a favor. I would love it if you would subscribe to the channel. Okay, so just go to YouTube and just do a search for JAZZEDGE. Subscribe to the channel. That'd be awesome. And then also share your practice videos and hashtag them for me. That'd be great. join in on the conversation on the Facebook group or the Jazz Edge community. If you're looking for the sheet music and you are a member of the site already, you will find the sheet music right in the lesson page. If you are not a member of the site, again, just go back to noblepiano.com/mbjgp. All right. So that's it for this first lesson. We got a lot of stuff to cover here in the month of April. So I hope that you'll join me. These lessons will be free on YouTube for the entire month of April. They will be going away in May. So if you want to make sure that you get them, be sure to subscribe and turn on that notification bell as well so you know when I come out with a new video. All right. That's it for today's lesson. I'll see you tomorrow.